What is going on, guys? SMH Super Mario Hoops with some more hoops. Today we're going for a 2-for-1 special on videos. You'll get 2 videos today, and then you won't see 2 more videos on my channel for probably another year. Maybe, I don't know. But, I just felt like in the mood for making some vids, so here we are. I decided, I'm going to rank every NBA team. Now, I have the list in front of me of my ranking from 1 to 30 of every NBA team, from my favorite to my least favorite, and this is so you guys can get kind of an understanding for where I sit with certain teams in the league. So, we're going to start from the bottom. This might be a long video. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm going to try to keep it short, but try and get my point across. We're going to start with number 30, and keep in mind, some of this has to do with, prior history, but, obviously most is going to have to do with what's going on right now. But, so just kind of keep that in mind. Number 30, we're going to go all the way over here, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, this is kind of I feel that this team, either you definitely agree with me or you definitely don't. Because this is usually one of everyone's favorite teams or everyone's least favorite teams. I'm kind of on the least favorite side. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I hate everybody on this team. I like Steven Adams. Seems like a pretty cool guy. But man, it seems like every player almost, except for maybe Steven Adams, at points, I don't know. It seems like every player on this team, just the way that they play, just starts to irritate me. I don't know if any of you can kind of agree with me on that. For example, Dennis Schroeder. I used to not mind Dennis Schroeder at all with the Hawks, but now, every time he's on the Thunder, it just bothers me. Kind of the same thing with Patrick Patterson. It's a lot of these guys, and obviously, Russell Westbrook, he's kind of a polarizing type of NBA player in itself. I kind of didn't like the way things went with Paul George, how he went from the Pacers to the Thunder. So maybe putting all that together, maybe that's why I just don't like the Thunder. Going to number 29, we got the Wizards. I don't like the Wizards either. They might actually be tied with the Thunder. I don't know. I think I might have the Thunder just a little bit lower just because, of how good they are now. And I'm just not rooting for them, and they're going to be, in the playoffs, whereas the Wizards aren't. But I just don't like the Wizards. They're pretty dysfunctional at this point. Of all teams, I think, that have made a conference finals, I believe they have the biggest drought. They haven't made one in 40 years, if I'm correct on that. At least that was the case, I think, a year ago. Which I still think is true. I like some of these guys. Some of them are former Bulls, like Bobby Portis. Jabari didn't play the best with us, but it was kind of this, I guess, the system as well. I just not a fan of this team. I don't mind Bradley Beal. I don't like John Wall. Never really been a John Wall fan. But At number 28, I got the Knicks. Now, okay, here's the situation with the Knicks. Most of it's not even the players' fault. It's just, the ownership, the management. I think most of us can agree that James Dolan is not the preferred, owner of choice. He's not the best owner in the league. They got some nice guys in this team, but I don't know. They got some weird guys in this team as well. That's I'm not interested to watch a Knicks game. DeAndre Jordan, sure, but I'm not really interested in watching DeAndre Jordan in 2019. They have Moutier, they have Smith. I know they have Ntilikina, who they haven't been playing too much recently. They just got some weird guys like Vonleh, Damian Dotson, Kadeem Allen, Hazonia, Luke Cornett, if I'm even saying that right, Cornet, I don't know. I just am not interested to watch them. 27, the Golden State Warriors. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of a recency thing, obviously. I mean, if the Warriors kind of broke up, really, if the Warriors just got rid of maybe Durant and DeMarcus, I'd probably have them higher. Maybe Draymond too, because I'm not really a Draymond fan. If they just had Curry and Clay, I'm not even a Curry fan, but I can like at least respect them enough to the point where they wouldn't be so low on my list. 26, I kind of was thinking about it a little bit. Yeah, I got the Cavs. The Cavs are just so... The Cavs, I feel like this year, are just a team that you don't remember. Like, I barely... Like, sometimes I'm thinking about these teams and it's like, oh, like, I'm forgetting about the Cavs. Because they're so forgettable now. I mean, a lot of their relevance is because of LeBron. And, I mean, now that he's gone, they kind of don't have that anymore. So I got the Cavs, number 26. And it doesn't help the fact that they're just not good. 25th, the Hornets. They're really not relevant too much other than the fact that they have Kemba. If they did not have Kemba, I feel like they would actually be less relevant than the Cavs. But yeah, not really a fan. 24, the Pistons. I mean, the Pistons are just... I just don't even know. I mean, they got Blake on contract for 4 more years, Reggie Jackson for 5, Drummond for 5. And I think most of us can agree that with these 3, they're probably not going to win a title. I just feel like it's kind of hard. Now, 23, where the frick are they? 23, I got the Pelicans. Now, I actually originally had the Atlanta Hawks here. I decided to change that because, I don't know, I kind of like what the Hawks are actually doing right now. And I guess the Hawks aren't too bad of a franchise. But staying on the Pelicans, I mean, they're kind of really similar to the Hornets. They're just not really relevant at all. I mean, they have Anthony Davis, but he's probably going to be gone in the summer. And then they're just, you know, they're going to have Randall and Holiday, but they're not going to be much of a big name. I don't think they really ever have been. They're not going to attract anyone. Don't attract me personally too much. But yeah, 22, the Lakers. Now, the Lakers would be higher on my list. I just don't like the fit, really. LeBron, I mean, I just don't like the idea of LeBron and Kuzma and Ingram all on the same team. They just got some weird guys, like, they got Rondo, they got Tyson Chandler. You know, I kind of want Lonzo to be, like, the main point guard of the team as well once he comes back. So that's just kind of hard for me to put him there. I had them a lot higher, though, when, in the days that they were, like, really good, when Kobe, Powell, and Bynum. And now number 21, this is where I have the Atlanta Hawks. I like what the Hawks are doing. They got some nice young guys. Really, I mean, the Hawks I've really not had a problem with them too much. I thought they were overhyped that one year where they had 4 All-Stars. But yeah, I've liked them. I mean, I've been watching basketball for about like 10 or so years now. So, I mean, I liked them when they had Josh Smith, Joe Johnson, and they got a nice young team. So, they look pretty good for the future. Kevin Huerter, do not sleep. And they got Vince. I mean, Vince is a legend. Number 20, the Miami Heat. Just not really anything too notable here. I mean, they're a solid team. They get the job done. Nothing too interesting about them. That's kind of why I have them in a middle slot. Also, I was not a fan of them back in the day when they were the biggest threat to my Bulls when we had D Rose and stuff. So that has them a little bit lower. But anyways, number 19, the Raptors. I mean, the Raptors, they're alright, I guess. I wouldn't have a problem with them if they won the East. Really, we're getting into the part where some of these teams I don't really feel too negative toward them. It's just that I don't like them enough to put them higher. Yeah, the Raptors are a nice squad. I like what they're doing right now. Kyle Lowry, I mean, I think for 3 years now we thought he was going to, like, slow down, but he hasn't. Moving on. Number 18, I got the Grizzlies. Now, the Grizzlies are a pretty boring team, I will admit, but I did like them when they had Zebo and Marc Gasol and Conley and Rudy Gay, and I do like my man Joakim down here. There he is. So, I got to show them some love. 17, I got the Rockets. Now, I think most of the main reason I like the Rockets is because when it comes to May, around mid-May, and we're in the conference finals, and this might most likely will be the team that will face the Warriors. I'm going to want them to win, obviously. I would much rather have the Rockets win than the Warriors, and I feel like they are the biggest threat to the Warriors. Even though they had kind of a slow start to the year, I think they've kind of figured it out. But I mean, I kind of was struggling on where to put them, but that's kind of the main reason I have them higher. If they probably weren't too much of a threat, I probably would have them a bit lower, considering I'm not the biggest Harden fan. I mean, the rest of these guys, these role players, Austin Rivers, Jalen Green, I mean, I'm not really too high on those guys, so, yeah. 16, the Spurs, mainly out of respect. I mean, for Popovich, I mean, what he's doing with this crew, I know they have really a better team this year than last year, but it also seems like the West is way better this year than last year. It's just crazy that they've made the playoffs for so many years. I think we're on, believe 22 years now that they're going to be making the playoffs. It's wild. 15, we got the Celtics. Celtics are weird. I had the Celtics a bit higher, but I mean, this season, the way they're playing, and I don't know really how much I'm kind of skeptical on how I like the fit, really, of Kyrie with these guys, because it seems like the whole season has been Kyrie against the rest of them, and then also there's been some Gordon Hayward is not a good fit with some of these other players like Jaylen Brown or Tatum. I don't know, but I have them right in the middle because I'm not like full hatred on them, obviously. 14, the Clippers. I'm really impressed with what the Clippers are doing this year, and there's some players in this team that I just really like. I'm a huge fan of Gallinari. If you guys have not seen my tribute video for Gallinari, you should go check that out. That was when he was signed and traded to the Clippers, actually, about almost 2 years ago now. But, yeah, that's the most popular video on my channel, actually. I'm a pretty big Lou Will fan, and I like Zubac as well. And they got some nice young guys on here as well, like Shamet and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Moving on to number 13, I got the Nets. Karis LeVert was balling at the beginning of this year, and D'Angelo Russell has really stepped up his game as well. Spencer Dinwiddie has played solid off the bench. Jared Allen has not gotten many minutes. I don't know if they have the stats on here for this year. They do not. But I'm pretty sure he has not gotten too many minutes, if I'm correct. But he's still playing really well. Joe Harris, the winner of the three-point contest, doing his thing. Napier, DeMar Carroll, Ed Davis almost averaging a double-double off the bench. Rodions Kurucs, I believe that's how you say his name. He's played pretty well. They just have a lot of, solid guys. And I kind of like teams like that. And they got, they got potential next year to have two stars in D'Angelo and Karis LeVert if he's fully healthy. Going over to number 12, I got the Orlando Magic. I've kind of always had a soft spot for the Magic. I am a fan of Vucevic. Coming into the league, I was a fan of Markelle Fultz as well. So hopefully next year he will get, fully healthy. Hopefully he's done with all these injury ordeals and he can just play basketball, be the Markelle that, we thought we were going to get about 2 years ago. And, and they're also playing well this year, too. So, I got them number 12. Number 11, I got the Sixers. I moved them down a little bit. I don't know if I like the fit of Jimmy with them. I do like the fit of Tobias as well. Boban, of course. There's so many guys on this team that you just really like. Joel Embiid is kind of a you like him or you hate him. I'm more on the I like him side. It's not bad. He's not my favorite center in the league, but he's a pretty fun, interesting guy. And I mean, Ben Simmons, if he can develop a jump shot, he can be pretty good. Number 10, we're in the top 10 now. I got the Mavericks. The Luka Porzingis duo just looks like it's going to be very interesting once they're actually playing together next year. But I mean, the main reason is because of this guy, Dirk Nowitzki. It's just crazy some of the stuff he's done in his career. He just moved up in the 6 all-time scoring. Beat the Big Three Heat in 2011. Won an MVP. It's just really crazy. He's actually my 4th favorite player of all time, so I gotta have kind of a soft spot for this Mavericks team as well. Going on to number 9. For the time being, I don't know if he'll be next year's Minnesota Timberwolves, mainly because of this guy, but also a little bit because of this guy, and a little bit because of this guy. My Bulls, the Timber Bulls. There's still some Timber Bulls here. D Rose had that 50-point game this year. He really kind of brought his career back to life after what looked like a final season for him last year. And so I mean, I'm proud for D Rose, but I don't know if all these guys will be back next year. And that's kind of the main reason I even root for them. That's why I'm not putting them near like the top, because I'm not really strongly rooting for this team in general. But I do like Towns. Not a huge Wiggins fan. Let's move on. Number 8, Portland. Man, Portland. I mean, I'm a huge Damian Lillard fan, but I feel for Portland fans. I've said that they're the most unluckiest franchise of all time. I mean, both of these two are injured now, with Nurkic going to miss like the rest of the year. Brandon Roy, he was one of my favorite players as well, also injured for his career. Greg Oden, injuries derailed his career. The Sam Bowie selection. They traded Moses Malone, who they had at one point. Bill Walton's injuries. Just so much stuff. They were up 16 going into the 4th quarter in 2000 against the Lakers. I really feel for this franchise. I want them to succeed. I know they have a championship, but I'd like them to, actually get a couple more, show that maybe the curse over them hanging in a cloud is broken. Number 7, I got the Kings. This might be this is definitely actually this is the most fun King squad to watch since the 2002, when they had Weber and Peja and Mike Bibby and Divac and Doug Christie. I really like Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox as well. Marvin Bagley has played pretty nice. I'm a pretty big Bogdanovich fan as well, and Harry Giles. Obviously, I like Yogi as well. Little fun fact, my high school team actually beat Yogi Ferrell in state championship. So yeah, I wasn't actually on the team though. Like that, I was like a elementary school kid who saw that the high school I was going to be going to, was in the championship. So yeah, it's a little fun fact. We ended up beating Yogi in the championship. But I do kind of like Yogi though as well. Number 6, Indiana Pacers. Okay, so obviously with that in mind, that I had played, or my high school that I was going to be going to, had played Yogi in the championship, I mean, you could probably figure out that I live in Indiana, and so obviously I gotta respect where basketball is grown in Indiana. Um, I root for IU too as well, so it was pretty cool when Oladipo came back via trade. Bogdanovich, he's been going crazy. I just went to the game where they played the Nuggets, and he did not miss at all. He was going off. Sabonis, Miles Turner. Sabonis has been great off the bench. Miles Turner hasn't really taken much of an offensive leap. He's kind of stayed about the same, but defensively he's been amazing. Yeah, you just kind of like these teams that they don't really have so much, but they're playing so well. And also a little shout out to my man Dougie McBuckets. Alright, so we're in the top 5. Number 5, I really want this team to be successful as well, just like the Trailblazers. But this team, I mean, they haven't had a curse. They just haven't been good. Also, they got Steve Nash, who is in my top 5 players of all time. So, I gotta respect him for that. So, I mean, they got Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. I feel like that's could be. I mean, he said they could be the next Kobe and Shaq. I don't know about that, but they will be pretty good. And Kelly Oubre has played well for them too. And they've been beating some teams recently that have been good. They beat the Bucks, the Warriors. I believe they beat the Lakers when they were still trying to get in the playoffs. So, yeah. Number 4. Oh, I guess I can mention my other top 5 players. Obviously, you know, Nash is number 5. Dirk is number 4 for my list. Number 3, used to play for this team right here until last year, Manu Ginobili. And number 2 was the big Great Wall of China, Yao Ming. And you guys will know soon enough, number 1, if you don't already know. The Utah Jazz is number 4 on my list. I've liked the Utah Jazz for a while now. I liked them, obviously, when Gordon Hayward was running the show. I've liked them when they had Al Jefferson and Paul Millsap. And then I've also liked them when they had D. Will and AK-47 and Boozer, who eventually came to my Bulls. So, you know, I like Jinglin' Joe. Donovan Mitchell, I mean, he's pretty fun to watch as well. You know, Kyle Korver, obviously, one of the former Bulls, so I gotta show respect to him as well. But they kind of fall in the line of the Pacers. Like, they don't have a top tier talent like a Durant or a Giannis or a LeBron, but they're just pretty good, you know. And I mean, these two, they're a pretty good duo. I don't know if they're going to be Kobe and Shaq necessarily, because Gobert's kind of in his prime now, and he doesn't look like a Shaq. No offense to Gobert, but yeah, they're still a pretty nice duo for the next couple years. Going on to top 3. Number 3, the Denver Nuggets. I really like this Nuggets team. I'm also a fan of Gallinari, as you heard, who used to play for the Nuggets. Just so much about the Nuggets. Like, I feel like the Nuggets are always a very interesting for like a long time. Even though they're not necessarily the best team, they've always been pretty interesting to watch. Jamal Murray is very flashy. Nikola Jokic is very flashy. Gary Harris at points is pretty flashy. Paul Millsap, probably not so much. But I mean, they're just pretty good. Isaiah Thomas can be flashy at points, but then again, he's not really playing at this moment. Will Barton. Really, almost everyone on this team can do something with flash, except maybe Paul Millsap. But he's still a pretty solid player. Yeah. And I want them. It's probably not going to happen this year because they're still relatively young. But I just want them to get a championship. They're the only ABA team that hasn't made the finals yet. So I would love them to get a championship. And then we're looking at the number 2 spot, Milwaukee Bucks. I gotta say, one of my favorite duos growing up, because, I mean, I've been watching the NBA for about 10 years now. So obviously, I mean, one of my favorite players when I was kind of growing up and getting used to the NBA was Brandon Jennings, who was going off really early in his career. His first few years when he was playing with the Bucks, he was an exciting player to watch too. And I guess also polarizing, kind of like Russell Westbrook, but I was on the side where I kind of like Brandon Jennings. And then also when they got Monte with him, I thought that was like really cool because I liked the way both of them played together. Even though they didn't have too much success, it was really cool. And then they got the Greek Freak. You know, Giannis has been pretty crazy, as you can tell. I mean, could be MVP favorite. If not, it's going to be James Harden. But, I mean, he's definitely in the top 2. Chris Middleton, who was actually traded for Jennings. I was kind of sad when Jennings was traded, but he's been pretty solid. And, obviously, I like him, too. Eric Bledsoe, kind of wasn't too sure about him at first either. Kind of like Middleton. But I've kind of grown to like him, too. And also, I mean, I know I didn't get to see like Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar play, but I mean that's a pretty crazy duo, and like the fact that they won a title, like it's pretty insane with what like Oscar did in his career and with what Kareem did in his career. It's probably one of the better duos of all time. Number 1, I mean, if it wasn't already obvious enough, Chicago Bulls. Many reasons. First of all, this man by the name of Derrick Rose, who was my favorite player growing up, still is. Luol Deng was on that team. Joakim was my guy. Taj, Boozer, Korver, Ronnie Brewer, Keith Bogans, even though he only averaged about 4 points a game. You got Mike James, Kurt Thomas, and then later you got Rip Hamilton, the younger Jimmy. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of Jimmy after he became a star. I just felt like he started becoming like kind of like a different person. But yeah, and obviously, I mean, they are considered my hometown team, even though I live in Indiana. I actually am closer to the Bulls Stadium than the Pacers Stadium. So, yeah, they're kind of the team that everyone in my area roots for. Obviously, I'm going to root for them as well. They have the GOAT, obviously, MJ, Michael Jordan, 6 Finals MVPs. And I mean, tied for the 3rd most championships. I mean, the Lakers and Celtics have the big rivalry all time, but I mean, the Bulls are just right there, right behind them with the 3rd most success, tied for the 3rd most success of any franchise. And, yeah, it's just pretty, crazy. Yeah, but I mean, even talking about this team right now, I like the way Zach LaVine plays. He's a very exciting player. Lauri Markkanen looks like he could be like another version of like a Dirk-esque player. Maybe Porzingis. Otto Porter, when we just traded for him, wasn't too high on it considering his salary is bad. But, I mean, he's played pretty well. I don't think he's worth $26 billion a year, but he has played better. We're going to have a good draft pick this year, so that should be nice. Maybe we'll get someone else young. And potentially like Zion or Ja Morant. And maybe in free agency, just maybe, we can bring back this guy. I don't know. It's just what I'm thinking of. You guys can leave a comment of your favorite NBA team, or if I didn't give a good enough analysis of why I had teams where I had them, maybe asking why I had them where I had them. But yeah, that's gonna close it. So kind of just like a recap of like the main five and the worst five. So the Bulls are my favorite, Bucks second, I got the Denver Nuggets third, the Utah Jazz fourth, and fifth I got the Phoenix Suns. And as for my five least favorite, my least favorite team is the Thunder. Then it's the Wizards. Then it is the New York Knicks, followed by the Golden State Warriors, and last followed by the Cleveland Cavaliers. But also I will throw in the Charlotte Hornets as like very close to the Cleveland Cavaliers because they're very similar situations. So yeah, this is gonna about wrap things up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, I'll see you guys later on the next one.